This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff, plus Alex and Nate, with Sam somewhere in the background.
Hey.
We should change the name to just
Hey.
This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff and Friends.
Matter to me.
Or Sports
The
Stuff
friends
with Jim, Muff, and fellow degenerates.
Yeah.
but the friends and the fellow degenerates are typically the same people. That's why I like to name them. So
Jim and Muff and their homies.
And their homies.
yeah, we get on board with that. Today is Tuesday, January 31, in the year of our Lord 2023. We have completed the conference championship weekend in the NFL.
Yeah, that happened. Things transpired.
Games happened, games ended. Some people were happy, some people were not happy.
There's one good game, one not good game.
Hello, loyal listeners, Sports Hub Jim and Muff. This is take number 4, but I would like for you to rate, comment, subscribe, poke, tickle. I can't say anything else because there are children around. So do all the fun things.
We'll get into that. Some other just general news in sports. This will be a down and dirty episode. So we got football coming to an end, which is sad, but hopefully brings a fun Super Bowl matchup.
I think it will be.
Talk a little bit about that. What's that, Alex?
I have high hopes.
High hopes. Always have high hopes. As a reminder, be sure to follow us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter. Get us on YouTube, sportstuffw.com/Jim, Amber, Sam, Muff. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, like, comment, rate, review.
Poke.
Pickle. Lick. Squeeze. Hug.
Handshake. Grope.
Ask consent if you're going to lick first. That seems really personal.
Nate, we're going to need you to come up with a better action word there.
Fondle.
Please.
Fondle. Again, ask consent if you're going to fondle. If you fondle over Sports Stuff and deal with Muff with consent, good for you.
If that's what does it for you.
Cusp.
All right.
Firmly grasp it.
All right, Alex, how are the Pittsburgh Penguins doing?
you did ask for that, just being fair. The Pittsburgh Penguins are 24-16-9. They are 5th in the Metropolitan Division right now. They are 1 point behind the Capitals for 4th and 5 points behind the Rangers for 3rd place in the divisional playoff spot. However, they currently are seated in a wild card spot with a 1 point advantage over the Buffalo Sabres. After Saturday's disappointing loss to the struggling San Jose Sharks, the NHL enters the bye week / All-Star week.
Which we will talk more about because there are some interesting things this year in the NHL All-Star weekend. So that'll be fun times. Jim, any updates on your favorite teams?
Columbus is at the bottom still. The Kraken sit atop the Pacific at 29-15.
Congrats to the Kraken.
Vegas is right behind at 29-18. Feeling good about my teams, minus Columbus.
Well, yeah, I am curious. I heard this referred to. I don't know if this is common naming, but have you heard the home arena for the Kraken referred to as the Crack House?
No, but that's awesome.
I'm not sure if that was people just being funny when I was listening to another podcast, but it's going to stick for me.
So I don't know if I've said this on the show or not. I think I have, but I want a Kraken hat for my birthday. And this is really the test of whether my wife listens to the show. My birthday is next week. If I do not get a Kraken hat for my birthday, I'm going to be pissed. And I have literally, she's asked me what I want for my birthday. You know what I've said? Nothing.
Listen to the podcast.
I've said, I don't want anything, babe. I don't
Listen to
want
the podcast and set your fantasy lineup.
anything. So let's see if she listens to the show, because this is my test.
It will be a test.
For sure. I want a Kraken hat.
What if we found you a shirt that said, "Welcome to the Crack House"?
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd rock that shirt on the show.
I know, girl.
That's true.
I think that you can probably.
That would be the show shirt. I might get rid of the pit shirt for that.
I'm not sure what Alex is doing right now, but
I think Alex knows what he's doing right now.
I'm all hopped up on cold meds.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
You robo-tussing?
You robo
Jacked
tussing
up?
No, not I didn't have any. Some I'm function. I shouldn't even say cold meds really. Just a bunch of Advil and Tylenol and Advil cold and sinus. I guess that counts.
Yeah, but that don't get you
Doesn't
buzzing.
No, it doesn't. I think I'm just tired and have a headache. So,
Okay.
All right.
but I'm gonna do my best because I'm here for loyal listeners. Because in order to have loyal listeners, you must be a loyal provider.
There you go. There you go.
There's some life life knowledge bombs for you from Alex.
Ooh.
All right. With all that being said, let's get into the
Our
show.
opinions aren't too tough, rough, or gruff. We are proof that you don't have to be an expert to have an opinion. So just
Shut up and sit down.
This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff.
Starting with conference championship week breakdown.
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 Starting with the NFC Championship game as the 49ers take on the Eagles in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Not much to talk about here as the Eagles win 31-7. And the rush attack for both teams was the theme of the day. One based on success, the other one based out of necessity. Brock Purdy goes down in the first quarter with an elbow injury. Afterwards revealed it may take 6 months recovery, possibly surgery.
Did they say what the official injury was?
UCL, I believe, was the
Like a tear or
I didn't see what the verdict was, but the UCL was the is that a ligament?
yeah, that it's probably the ulnar collateral ligament.
According to Schefter, it's torn.
Complete tear. Yeah.
Ugh.
I just need to update my friend at work who was making comments about he was like, I think Brock Purdy's soft. He hurt his elbow and his team needs him and he can't throw the ball. He's like, and I was like, okay, so if something's fundamentally torn or broken, will you forgive him? And he's like, yeah, but it better be. He's like, if not, that's embarrassing.
Ugh.
So
I was
Alex, where
wow.
would that be in your arm?
Your ulnar ligament is kind of like where you're
It's right, like yeah, where
basically
it bends.
your ulnar nerve is what you hit whenever you hit your funny bone.
Okay.
So that ligament would be right around that area.
I had to have mine
This-
tested, my ulnar nerve tested.
ugh,
That's horrible.
I will never do that. I will just die first.
And then to tear it, that doesn't sound fun.
So
Now, have you ever seen all the guys in like the compilation videos on YouTube of the guys throwing their elbows out in baseball?
Is
Yeah.
that oh
so
Yeah,
that's what
He might have
they're
Tommy John.
that's what they're looking at right now. Does he need a full construction in the form of Tommy John surgery, or will he just need a repair surgery? Which, if it's just a repair, he'll be able to join for training camp next season. If it's a full blown Tommy John, there's a good chance he will not be ready in time for that.
but what is that like? That's 6 months, right?
For the
Yeah.
repair.
For the repair. But what's the full Tommy John? Isn't that like a year?
Yeah.
Ugh.
The easiest way to look at it is for baseball players. Tommy John is the equivalent of tearing your ACL in football.
Yeah.
As far as how useful
far as
it is to your
recovery,
career. Yeah. But Josh Johnson gets not a quarterback for a little bit, like a
So
quarter.
did McCaffrey at one point.
Yeah, he was running the nice wild card offense.
Wildcat.
Yeah.
We'll give
Sorry.
you benefit of the doubt on that, Alex.
Sorry. Yep, wild card offense.
The fog, the medicine fog that Alex is in. Yeah, Devontae Smith, his catch in the first quarter. Right. Any other comments before we get into this? Because the game itself played out once Brock Purdy went down.
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, the catch did not change the outcome of the game. It was not a catch.
But I have a question on thoughts about the mechanism and the procedure in place for not just review, as in a coach calling for a review, so throwing the challenge flag, but also the review in the booth. Because Devontae Smith was very urgent in wanting people to get up to the line to snap the ball after he made this catch, which was about a 30-ish yard catch in the first quarter to put him about the 5-yard line. And I'm curious if anybody thinks that this shows some of the limitations of the booth review in the quick replay.
I mean, here's my thought on it. How many years have we been playing football? And just recently, we've developed this really complex review system. I mean, how many years would that have just been an unquestioned catch? We would have gone up to the line and played anyway. So
Without
I don't
even
think
having to rush it, right?
I think that when you're rushing, it gives away that you think it might not be a catch. And for me, if I'm the other team, that's when I start throwing a fit about getting a review in or trying to challenge. If you are confident that you caught the ball, there's no need to. It's kind of like, when a cop pulls you over and says, "Can I search your car?" And you say no. Well, if you don't have anything you're hiding, then why is it a no?
Well, and it was kind of eerie too that usually whenever DBC or their defendant, the guy didn't catch it, they're jumping up and down like LeBron's no foul call. But the Niners players, they're, oh, okay, whatever.
More on the LeBron call later. Jim, any thoughts?
I don't know. This one doesn't really bother me.
Well, they asked Shanahan about it at the end of the game, and he said that the information he got from his guys upstairs, they didn't see the
They
angle
didn't
that
have the angle, right?
Yeah, that came later.
Yeah, that angle came after the snap. I think it was almost a whole play later, right?
Yeah.
That they actually saw that. It's interesting to me that if the NFL is bought into some of this quick replay and to review and overturn obvious calls for a conference championship game, how do we not have these angles on the spot and have 2 or 3 people that are reviewing most plays, the plays that may have some question, to get a quick replay and a quick call or overturn or confirmation?
My question more is to that point is, are we reliant on the broadcasting for the production of these calls? So we're relying on Fox or CBS to produce the angles. If that's the case, then it's really not the NFL's fault, or it's really the telecast's fault. And I think that needs to be more brought to light. Like, unless the NFL is going to do their own videoing of the game, that to me is the only solution. And really, that can help the speed. Like, we're going to do our own videoing. We're going to invest our own camera angles, our own technology, and they're not going to do that. There's too many games, and that's going to cost too much money. So it is what it is. If a cameraman missed the angle or they can't get it back to the truck fast enough, that's life.
And it's a good question as to where is the reliance? Like, is the NFL, is the tail wagging the dog, or is the dog wagging the tail on where these are coming from?
Right.
So just, I would say within the past year, I've noticed on the first down marker, they put down the pylon that has the camera in it. Like, that's new. Was that the NFL wanting that from the broadcast, or is that the broadcast saying, hey, this is a really good idea and this is going to give us a compelling view of certain plays?
Right.
But I'm not sure which direction that's going.
Yeah, me either.
Nate, as an official, what are some angles that we don't have that you would like to see?
I mean, I kind of like what they're doing in the college games, like on the primetime games where they have like the officials wearing the cameras on their hats, but at the same time, I don't know if I can get used to that depending on how bulky or how heavy it is.
Right.
But I kind of like seeing that too. So people at home are seeing whatever, and you can see what it's like from that vantage point.
I think that I know I'm jumping ahead. I think in the Bengals game, which will start a whole bunch of wars here in a minute, if that referee had that camera angle on his hat, and we see the whistle go to his mouth, it ends an argument we're about to have. You know what I mean?
Does it end the argument?
Yeah, for me it would.
Okay, we'll get there. Yeah. So,
well, and that's the other thing too, is like people don't realize is, yeah, you see this camera angle and you can see, like, you would think peripheral vision, but you're so focused in, like, for me, whenever I'm officiating as an umpire behind the linebackers, I am so focused in on pre-snap, guard, center, guard. So like everybody has their keys. Like that camera might show that I can see like tight end to tight end, but I may not be looking.
Sure.
The camera showed it because I am so dead set on guard, center, guard on pass plays, and I'm kind of relying on my wings to kind of pick up some of the holes on the tackles, or the referee picking up the tackles.
Right. And that's a good point. But to play devil's advocate, what's on your camera should then be in the replay booth.
hmm
So then the replay booth can then, production-wise, radio down if the NFL had the angles that we're talking about.
hmm
And that should solve it. So I think the NFL should do what the college is doing with the referees, because then we can actually see what the referees may have missed.
Yeah, or at least do like some sort of beta test maybe in preseason.
Yeah. Yeah.
All good thoughts. All good thoughts. So one last note that I have, others can add others, but just the Eagles are winning the Super Bowl. We're going to be able to talk more about them at length in the next week or two. Will the coaching job that Shanahan did in San Francisco be underappreciated this season, given that they were on QB3 and actually went to QB4 and almost to QB5?
I think that's a great point. I think it's Shanahan's system works. If anything, I think that proved that the quarterback doesn't make Shanahan's system; he makes the system.
Well, not only that, I think it just shows how talented that roster was.
Yeah, well,
Offensively,
they were 13-2 going into that game once Christian McCaffrey got there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw a stat. They were 3-4 after week 7,
Yeah.
and then won like 12 in a row.
Yeah, and then went on a run.
Did a nice job bringing it back.
I think some bigger question marks for me in that game for the 49ers is, where was this defense that they spoke highly of?
They were on the field.
I would have thought they would have controlled that a little bit more.
Yes, I think within reason you can want that, but it is damn near impossible to have a team that has good field position constantly and you're on the field.
Sure.
I don't know what the time of possession was, Nate, but I mean that's a great point. I would imagine
I'm looking up right
at least
now. I was looking up total plays too.
I would say it was at least probably 40-35-25, if not 40-20.
Yeah, that's a good point.
As far as minutes. And there's only so much you can do whenever you're behind the 8 ball every drive.
Possession, Eagles 37.5 minutes to the 49ers 22.5 minutes.
Okay. And then the other point I want to bring up is the fight at the end there.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Well, then if you go back 1 second, total plays: Philadelphia 70, Niners 45.
Yeah, big difference. You're right. Okay.
They held on for as long as they could, I think, and then
Yeah.
things just that were out of their control. But
Yeah.
To the throwdown, which almost led to some fisticuffs, some actually punches being thrown. So we're talking about Trent Williams, correct? It's Trent's first name, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Absolute mountain of a man, somebody I would never ever want to be on the wrong side of. I don't even remember who he threw down, but he threw down somebody like they were a small rag doll.
Yes.
You just have to be so careful if you're the Eagles, because you don't want to end up losing someone for the next game, getting some kind of suspension because you're doing something dumb and you're missing out on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But for Trent Williams, and we have no idea what was said. I mean, there was a lot of jawing back and forth. That's not abnormal post play. But once Trent Williams decided he was done, he was done. And I will say, once he threw that man on the ground, there was nobody who was really stepping up to him.
Is Ndamukong Suh on the Eagles?
Yes.
He stepped in, which that was the most funny thing, because Ndamukong Suh, from what I remember, was like a terrorist. Like, he was a bad man. He's a cheater bug. He stepped in there as the role of the peacemaker. Like, he did not want to step to Mr. Williams. He was more of like, whoa, big fella.
Well, that goes back to Alex's point. Like, I think he knew, being in that position before, hey, we got more to play for here. They don't.
Is that what you think? Or do you think he thought he could get his ass kicked?
Oh,
Had
yeah.
he finally met his match?
Not to get his ass kicked, to be honest.
You think he was just there because he had more to play for?
Yes, I truly do.
I really wanted to see those two fight. Like, I was really hoping for it.
It's also very evident in the way the sidelines reacted, right? The 49ers like sideline spilled onto the field, and the Eagles for the most part just kind of like maybe stepped a foot or two on, and we're like, this is about as far as we're gonna go.
There were like 50% more 49ers out there.
Right.
Please, your
Jalen
bench.
Hurt from like the
Please.
sideline was like, "I'm the quarterback. I'm still in my coat. I'm here to support you."
But I will not be getting into this.
Yes.
Yeah, he was basically just chaperoning.
Yeah.
Oh, boys. Now, come on, boys.
Right. That's what I was gonna do. Oh, boys.
No, boys will be boys.
Any other thoughts on the 49ers Eagles game?
No.
I believe I saw, this is just a funny aside, that anytime that the Balboa statue has been not gonna say desecrated, but has had another jersey put on it by an opposing team, that opposing team has lost every game.
Oh, that's just dumb.
It's the Rocky curse.
That's just dumb.
Curse.
So remember that anytime you play Philadelphia, do not be that fan to
Yeah.
hurt your team. Which brings us into the AFC Championship game. Bengals playing at Kansas City against the Chiefs.
I'm going first. And then you can do all your notes thing. Okay? I'm gonna say my points and I'm out.
All right.
Are you really out? You're just
I'm
saying your
out.
points.
I'm just gonna say my points and I'm out. Joe Burrow needs an offensive line. Holy shit, he needs an offensive line. We're gonna go back and forth from this whole section here, but there were less penalties called on the Chiefs that there should have been, in my opinion, and it felt like home cooking. Okay? The idiot who pushed Mr. Mahomes out of bounds, that was not a smart move, but I also think momentum had a part to play in that. That is a big guy. I don't think it was egregious. By the letter of the law, should have thrown a flag. I get it. I am done.
That's all?
You're going to bring up this whole Burrowhead thing. I think that's fake news. It's not that big a deal.
That's actually real.
I don't think that's big a deal as you're about to make it, but whatever.
Okay. Well, Chiefs
agree.
win 23-20 on a last second field goal after that late hit out of bounds that put the Chiefs into field goal range. Let's start there. The out of bounds late hit. Let's start with that. Nate is the guru of officiating. Give us your thoughts, and then we can debate as needed.
I mean, yeah, it's not super egregious, but at the same time, it's late. The guy was clearly 2 steps out of bounds. I'm calling that on a 6-year-old. I mean, yeah, you're like, I can see what Jim's saying, but at the same time, you see him going to the sideline. You know it's late in the game. It's like you're not going to be able to get a cheap shot on him. He's not going to run down the sideline on a bum ankle. You just got to know to lay up.
I think that's the thing for me. I get like you have to know to lay up, but I think it would be hard to do that. Like I'm with Jim in saying I see where you're talking. Like letter of the law, absolutely. It was technically a penalty. At that point in the game, though, like that lost the game for them. And I think if he had no momentum going for it and he just like made an extra effort, like lower the shoulder and just take him out, I'd be like not talking about it at all. But his hands were outstretched and he's falling and his hands bump. I mean, obviously he's not going to just fly into the bench for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I think it was clear he didn't have control of his body. It wasn't like an intentional like shove.
So I pose, if a defensive lineman in the middle of the field is running towards the quarterback with his hands outstretched and hits a quarterback after throwing the ball more than a beat, is that roughing the passer?
It wasn't in that game. That happened to Joe Burrow, and there was no flag.
If you don't intentionally drill them and you really do bump into them, I think a lot of the roughing the passer calls are ticky-tacky as well. I would say the same.
That exact situation happened to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow begged and cried for a flag, and no flag appeared.
Were there any roughing the passer calls in this game?
No.
I honestly don't recall the specific instance, but that's not me saying it didn't happen. That's
They
just
were
me
down
not
there.
remembering.
They were down there at I would say it's either the second to last drive or the last drive of the Bengals or the second to last drive of the Bengals. They were down there at the 20 because they had backed themselves up again. and they got through again on him, and he got it away. I want to say it was the second to last because it wasn't during that grounding play where he finally got caught with it, but they knocked him down and he got up and whined. And because I will say the only reason I want to mention it is because it was very un-Joe-listic of him. He showed emotion and was begging for a penalty.
I'm with Nate on the out of bounds at the end of the game. That's you have to, as a defender, you have to figure it out. Like, you have to not put yourself in a position to fly with the opposing quarterback out of bounds after he has both feet out of bounds into the bench. The optics were also bad on that one because they both went into the bench.
It was ugly. Nate, I have a question for you, and this is going to seem contentious. If it's in a game of that magnitude where your flag will most certainly win the game or has the potential to end the game, are you more inclined to keep the flag in your pocket?
Well, they even tell you, especially as a young official, make sure you get the train crashes and not the fender benders. And to me, in that state, in that play there, that's one that calls itself. I mean, it was so bad they both went flying into the bench. That one you got to call. If there's a no call there, holy shit, we're talking the other way here about how they don't call that and whatever. But yeah, I mean, late in games, I mean, when you talk about the whole roughing the passer thing, it's like you don't want to have a flag that's going to be one of those ticky-tacky ones that may cause an outcome of the game there. But that one, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was late.
Sure.
Yesterday, in our group text, I did call Nate a referee sympathizer.
Those words did come out of your mouth. I agree.
But I did say that I also respected his opinion as a professional. But it was also really fun because I knew we were getting Jim worked up even more. So I just started throwing gas on the fire.
The success you had.
I almost threw it again today. I saw a bunch of memes on Twitter about like how the refs, like it was like a joke. It was Pat Mahomes in the official trading jerseys and stuff like that. And but I chose to keep them myself.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Real quick, let's get away from some of that and talk about some of the higher profile injuries coming into this game. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes was recovering from the high ankle sprain and is still recovering, but was able to play and for the most part showed that he was able to get around. And there was only a few throws that I recall seeing like an obvious concern.
Yeah, I'd say there was like 3 or 4 he put in the dirt because of his ankle.
Yeah, some off, and those were mostly like off balance throws, right?
Yeah,
like as he was coming out of the pocket. But I think it's to be said that some things went right in his week preparation for this game for him to be in that type of state. I mean, a high ankle sprain realistically is like in the regular season you're looking 4 to 6 weeks typically, but I don't know what levels of high ankle sprain there are. I think they just classify it as a high ankle sprain.
I think it was Roma that even said if this was week like any other game in the regular season, he wouldn't have been out there.
Yeah.
Well, and if he's Lamar Jackson, he's done for the season.
I think we got some different situations going on there, Jim. If you want to talk about Lamar Jackson later, feel free. Also, Travis Kelce was a game time decision. Apparently had some back issues throughout the week.
They made that a narrative the entire game. Like, I don't care. He's out there. He's playing and he's kicking everyone's ass. Shut up.
Apparently this happened in practice.
Yeah, and then the announcer's like, I saw him a couple hours before the game. We didn't even know he's going to be out there. Shut up. He's there. He's catching like a monster that he is. I don't care.
How do you really feel about the situation?
Man, I didn't like Travis Kelce coming into the game simply
Really?
because like he just is a machine. Like, as a Chargers fan, like I hate Travis Kelce.
You don't like him because he's good.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care if that's your opinion as long as that's what you're saying.
I've seen his TikToks and the thing he does with his brother. I think he's a very talented individual and he's funny. But as a player on the field, it is annoying. Every ball that comes to him, he catches. And it's not just 5 or 3. Like, he gets a good 10-yard rip every time. And it just pisses me off. I'm not taking anything away from the guy, but damn.
It makes you angry as a fan of teams that have to play.
Yes, I hate it.
That is what it is. Okay, let's get back into some other things in the game. Jim, I want to give you the platform to discuss, I think, 2 specific calls that non-calls, I would say, that you had issue with. One was towards the end of the game on a punt return, correct? That was the last punt / return of the game.
There were lots of blocks in the back.
Okay.
Lots.
In that particular one, or are you talking overall?
In that one.
Okay.
That punt return.
Yeah. Nate, have you seen any of that replay?
I have not.
Okay. I was just curious if you had. My thought on this, because I did watch it, and it is I would say the replays I saw, and I think these are emphasized for the reasons to draw attention in this opinion. I think, in my opinion, that was a gunner getting caught in the wash of 2 guys trying to block him, and he gets turned around, and yes, he does fall down. Yes, is there contact to his back? Yes, but I think he was in the process of like spinning half of the time. So
okay, that's your take.
Right.
I told you I'm not going to argue with you on this.
Well, that's why I was curious if Nate saw it, because that was my take on it, is a gunner just getting caught in the wash, and gunners are just abused generally in any situation. So, Jim, I think you had one other play aside from the out of bounds.
That play with the referee where they had to redo it was
yes.
my only other contentious.
Yeah, I have my own feelings about that as well. It's not, if it was something that happened regularly or we didn't hear the whistle, okay, but like I think you just effed up.
Right. So this was third quarter, or was this fourth quarter?
I want to say it was 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was
Early 4th.
Early 4th. The Chiefs have the ball. It was 4th down, correct?
No, it was 3rd down.
It was 3rd down.
And the Chiefs don't have the ball.
No, they did.
The Bengals have. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
No,
you're right.
because the
You're right.
Bengals ended up getting a penalty on the next play, which gave them a first down because we thought it was going to be a sack.
So the 3rd down play was played out, and then it was stopped after the play and said that it was blown dead. And this is what position, official position on the field, Nate?
It's either the field judge or down judge, whatever that guy's called in the NFL. That spot.
So from the defensive backfield.
Yeah,
right?
He's a deep wing, essentially. He's like 25, 30 yards off the ball.
Okay. So the replays, after a bit, is similar to the Devontae Smith. It took a second to get the right replay to at least see anything. Show that the official is coming onto the field, and I will ask everyone to give their thoughts on what he was doing as he was coming onto the field.
He was waving his hands.
Okay.
He was running on the field and waving his hands.
Okay. And as he was coming onto the field, the play had not started. Can we agree to that? As he was coming onto the field.
Yes, I think it's the same concept as an inadvertent whistle. And an inadvertent whistle, we're like, oh well, that sucks. This is an inadvertent no whistle.
I heard no whistle. That's my bone of contention.
Yeah, I did not hear a whistle either, but the video showed him coming on the field, stopping the clock, and then they explained it. They said the game clock had started when it shouldn't have. So he must be the one in that. It's different in NFL, I'm sure, but in high school, whoever's looking at the clock, and it's usually the back judge, has the timing for like the play clock, game clock, and all that stuff. So he must have saw that the clock was running when it shouldn't have been. And I'm sure he not only noticed, but I'm sure someone was in his ear on the sideline. And then I don't know which sideline he was on. If it was the Bengals sideline, I think. They might have been,
remember.
But whatever sideline he was on, I'm sure, because there's coaches out there that are looking for that, saying, why is the clock running? Why is the clock running? And he probably looked up and realized, oh, shit, it is running. I'm just going to stop the clock here and save us and put the proper time back on the clock. But, I mean, again, it's Kansas City. It's so loud. I think wasn't it like the loudest stadium but still, I never even heard a chirp of a whistle.
We heard whistles all night. That was my thing. We heard whistles all night.
Yeah, I
that's
still
why
think one of those things, whatever they carry on the sideline for sound or whatever, didn't even pick it up.
I don't think he blew it. I think he forgot.
Well, that or he could have spit it out on his way out. I've done that before.
Yeah.
It's like you go to stop the clock. It's like,
Yeah, I think he messed up. And if that's the case, like I'm not sitting here saying he did not try to stop the clock. But the play happened. It transpired, life went on. To sit there and make them replay it did not make a lot of sense to me. Like, oh, shit happened. Like, you missed your shot. If a coach misses a timeout, we don't go back and, well, he wanted a timeout.
yeah, but when it comes down to timing, and especially in a critical game like that, you got to do what's right for the game there. If the clock,
I feel like what was right for the game was just let it go.
But I mean, if the clock was truly running and it shouldn't have been, then he saved the crew's ass there.
You're the ref. I can't argue with the ref, but I disagree.
Okay. Would we feel any differently if that play resulted in a Chiefs long play and or touchdown?
That got stopped?
Yes.
No, that wouldn't make any sense to me. If that whatever the result was of that play should have stood.
Okay.
Well, yeah. And I wonder too, in the same regard, would we still be talking about it if that sack would have counted? If they wouldn't have been a penalty on the next play.
Right. The next play obviously was big.
And
it still would have made sense to me. You know what I mean? If Eli Apple wasn't a dumbass, and I still think I still would have been like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay. So let's get up to some of the lead into the game. Obviously, there was a lot of discussion.
No. Let's talk about that Burrow grounding before you jump into that, because you have that note in there.
I do. I was going to bypass that, but if you want to talk about it, then there's a lot of discussion about Joe Burrow grounding the ball in multiple occasions that wasn't called, and then he finally got caught with it.
It was a clever design, and I think Zach Taylor needs credit for it. He would run the running back out and just have him stand there in case Burrow was about to get sacked, so that he would have a receiver for basically Burrow to hit in the back of the head with. And it was working. Like, from that point on, the sack stopped. That was a great great answer to him getting his ass put on the ground. The grounding that finally got called was the tight end ran. The tight end was supposed to be his relief valve, and he took off. It was a genius move. Like, I finally figured out, oh, he's burying the ball in the back of the damn running back to not get sacked.
My thought is, I understand why that seems clever. Why don't you just leave the back in the backfield to try to block and then throw it at his feet if you're about
because the backs can't stop him.
Why don't you just tell your offensive line to quit sucking?
That's a great point. That's the solve.
Yeah.
It's invest in offensive line.
As has been all year, right? The thing that did the Bengals in to some extent this game. I mean,
absolutely.
That was the major malfunction on offense for them, was protecting him.
We said that, and I don't know, the betting show or the show before, if they don't come in that first quarter and start beating the shit out of Kansas City, they're done. And that was kind of set the tone when you sack them 4 times in that first quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because how many offensive starters on the line were out for since I know it's at least 2. Is it not 3?
2 is what I think. Might have been 3. You're right.
Yeah, Collins and Kappa, I know, were definitely out.
Yeah.
So
it was ugly.
Yeah. In these 2 games, right, the NFC and AFC were the bipolar or the polar opposites. One was run heavy, the other was pass heavy, right? It was 2 different styles of play, which was interesting to watch. Again, one was out of necessity, and because the game was far enough away, they didn't have to worry about passing the ball. The second was you put your best players out there and you want them to make plays, and either they do or they don't. So some of the lead up to the game, we had Mike Hilton and the Burrow head comment.
Yeah.
And up until that game, that was true, right? Joe
Yeah,
Burrow had not lost to Kansas City in Kansas City. So
but you gotta watch saying that shit.
you do. Eli Apple, I think, had a tweet out there as well about something about people being on vacation and they were
Yeah,
still playing.
Cancun on 3.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And
But
yeah,
that wasn't about that.
That
Had
was-
nothing to do with Kansas City.
No, that did not, but it was still him.
That was a pop shot about Hamlin, and he needs to be punched in the face over that.
Well, no, and like my old football coach always told us, and I think some of these NFL guys need to hear it too, and not that they'll ever listen because your egos are too goddamn big. But you need to show your class and not your ass.
yeah,
Eli Apple is the epitome of that.
ass, yeah. I like the Bengals, but Eli Apple put such a tarnish on
Yeah.
them. I do think it was funny. I mean, like, I know Jim's anti Travis Kelsey now all of a sudden, but he was pretty funny at the end of the game when he came over. He's like, "Burrow hit my ass."
The fact that was all
That
caught
didn't
on
bother
live
me
TV is
either.
hilarious. I mean, it's hilarious because you put yourself out there, and if you do that enough, it's good till you get got, and they got got,
Right.
and then they
I
have,
agree
they
with
have to
that.
they have to rue the day on that, and that's that fine line between.
My
erring
only
against
thing about the whole
offense.
Burrowhead thing is that has nothing to do with why they lost.
No, but I mean, it doesn't. But it gives you chalkboard material for.
Exactly.
How about Cincinnati Mayor?
Dumbass.
Another dumbass.
Yeah. Stay in your lane.
That was, and they made mention of that too. I believe in the trophy
Yeah.
ceremony. It's just, I think it's funny to me that the Chiefs were so open to mock the situation. Like typically people are like,
yeah.
"Oh, keep a lid on it. We don't need to do all this." The Chiefs were like, "Nope, we're saying all this."
Yep.
Yeah, because wasn't it Kelsey again who was like, "Hey, Cincinnati Mayor, stay in your lane, you jabroni."
Yeah.
Yeah, he called him a
Yeah.
jabroni.
Jabroni. Yes.
And
Again,
remember
I don't-
that the Kelseys played at the University of Cincinnati.
That's what I was going to say. That's the ironic thing.
Yeah.
I don't hate Kelsey. Just so we're clear. Like again, I just don't like what I hate him play my teams.
Because he
He's
beats.
playing twice a year.
Right. I'm not a fan.
Yeah. Now we do get the match, right? The match of the Kelseys in the Super Bowl against each other, which is the first time.
I liked their tweet. Or Travis Kelsey says, "Well, my mom can't lose."
That is good. So, any other thoughts on this game before we get into a brief talk about the Super Bowl to come?
No.
Anybody? We good?
Well, I think we're good.
All right. So the Super Bowl, obviously, Eagles taking on the Chiefs. We'll have a lot of time to talk about this next week, but real quick, what is one key to victory that you have for one of the teams? So, whichever team you want to discuss that key, go for it, Alex.
Key to victory. The Eagles stopping the Chiefs offense. Not letting them what?
Should have left Alex for last.
Yeah.
You should have. I was not mentally prepared for that.
That was my fault. I apologize.
Thank you.
Alex, if you want to come back at the end, feel free.
Okay, thank you.
Nate.
For either team, or do you want me to try to make up one spot?
You pick one team key to victory. You only just choose one team. You don't have to go both sides.
I think for the Eagles, in order to win this game, you've got to dominate the time of possession. I mean, like we had mentioned, that was a primarily run-heavy game, and the Chiefs was a primarily pass-heavy game. You got to keep the clock as your friend if you're Sirianni. Don't let them get extra possessions. Keep your offense on the field as much as possible. Chew that play clock down and keep that offense off the field.
Jim?
I think if you're the Chiefs, you stick to the script. Like you don't change a lot. I think you keep a little bit more pressure on Mahomes and make him move around more. I don't care how many weeks it is between when he did it and the Super Bowl. I think he's still going to be hobbled up a little bit. And you put a little bit more pressure on him than the Bengals did. Make him beat you.
I was going to, after I had time to collect my thoughts, my comment was going to be somewhat similar to Jim's with an added thing of pressure, get pressure on Patrick Mahomes, but take away Kelsey as his constant outlet.
Yes.
So if you're going, you need to have both of the pressure, but also heavy defense on Kelsey because I don't think he has a good enough outlet valve without him.
And the Chiefs are receiver depleted. So,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I think if you lose him, or can keep him in check.
Make someone else beat you.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of that game, yes, I don't know what this looks like 2 weeks from now for the Chiefs, but at the end of that game, they were tough as
Mhm.
far as the number of wide receivers that were out there on the roster. For me, I'll go with the Eagles. A key to victory is you have to have, as Nate said, keep the ball out of the hands, but you have to be able to establish a running game. Now that goes hand in hand with what Nate said as far as controlling the clock. But establishing a running game doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have 10, 15-yard runs. It has to mean that you're willing to stick to the running game. That
Yes.
Jalen Hurts, you're getting in third in manageable situations. 3rd and 3 to 6. Those are all manageable. I think if they can do that, then that will put the pass rush, which in third downs against Joe Burrow was seemingly unstoppable.
yeah.
I think that puts, now we're talking about 2 different offensive lines, don't get me wrong. But I think that's the key for the Eagles is to stay on schedule. You have to stay on schedule in order to control the clock. If you control the clock, then you can keep Mahomes off the field in that offense.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's initial thoughts and keys to victory. We'll get into more next week, which brings us to the end of this week's discussion on the NFL football and the breakdown. We'll toss us right into other interesting news in sports. We actually have a pretty decent slate here, huh?
I'm excited.
Some will be
Starting
more.
to pay attention to other things now. It's just not 24/7 football.
We're not quite yet to the quote unquote all caps off season,
Not yet.
but we're getting close. Some other football news. Tom Brady isn't sure what he's going to do, and he sends a very strong message to Larry Fitzgerald and Jim Gray in "Let's Go" last week, saying, "If I knew what I was going to effing do, I would have effing done it." Where
Is
do
his
we?
divorce final?
I think he's still trying to figure out his crypto situation, isn't he?
How do you saw that going bad?
But where do we think this is going to end up? I mean, there's a lot of talk and discussion out there. Nate, as a Bucks fan, you may have a hope in this, or you may have a hope that's not what we expected. But what do we think is going to end up with Tom? Is he going to be playing? And if so, what's one place other than Tampa Bay you think he may play?
If he's going to play, it's not going to be in Tampa, I don't think. As much as that's going to suck because that's going to be a huge cap hit. But Tampa's got a lot of pending free agents. They've already have cleared up some coaching positions. Their quarterback coach, the legend Clyde Christensen, retired. They fired Byron Leftwich. So really, the 2 most important positions to the quarterback are currently vacant. The way they played this year, why would you want to come back to that? As far as where he might go, I mean, I still think if they would want him for 1 year, I could see him going to San Fran, play for your hometown team. They're ready to win right now. They got all the pieces around.
Well, especially if Brock Purdy's out for a year.
Yeah, and then Garoppolo is going to be a free agent, so you need a veteran presence there for 2 guys that are going to their 2nd or 3rd season. But then again, I don't know what their cap situation is either. Because you think about it, you got Christian McCaffrey, you got Deebo Samuel,
Yeah,
you got George Kittle. I mean, you got all the weapons you can want out there, plus you're in your backyard. But at the end of it, I still think he should, and I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, sign a 1-day contract and go out as a Patriot.
Ooh.
That would make sense.
Kraft would take him. Kraft would make that happen.
Oh, yeah, that's a very ceremonial thing in the end.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion. He ends up in Miami.
Interesting.
That would be funny.
Do I think it'll really happen? No, but I think it would make for a very, very interesting narrative.
That would be cool.
I kind of think he just retires.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's smart, he retires. And I say that with the respect that he is the greatest quarterback of all time, but he kind of looked like doo-doo sometimes last year, and I'd hate to see him decline some of his image of greatness by dragging it out too long.
Child support's not going to be fun to pay. Giselle's not going to be nice.
Well, whenever you get that $300 million contract waiting to Fox,
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he's worried about money at this point.
No.
but no, that's why I think he's still playing. There's speculation that he doesn't want Giselle to get any of that Fox money, so he wants this divorce to go through, and then he's going to retire.
Ugh, talk about an all-time situation
How
here.
about spite, man?
Yeah. In other news in the NFL, lots of noise around Nathaniel Hackett heading to the Jets and what this could mean for the future of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Do you have any thoughts on if Nathaniel Hackett to the Jets means anything for Aaron Rodgers' decision?
Well, I don't think it's his decision. I think he's going to come back. It's just a matter of where is he going to play? Because from all the reports going around now, Green Bay they're done.
They say he can play, but he ain't going to play here.
Mm-hmm. And it's a given he's going to be traded to the AFC. I mean, anytime you get these high-profile players, they're never going to trade him in conference. You don't want to have the chance of possibly playing him in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Can we see Aaron Rodgers going out to Cali?
No.
I can. I think there'd be a lot of oil to put in his butt out there. What's that stuff he uses?
Not that he's from California or anything, Alex. Just
Yeah, no, I just think he'd fit
Straight
in.
to the oil butt.
I'm just being honest. I just kind of think he'd fit in out there.
okay, Alex.
Straight to the oil butt.
All right, the NFL MVP race has its finalists: Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, and Patrick Mahomes. Who do we have winning?
What are my choices?
I think,
Jalen Hurt.
yeah, I was gonna say Jalen Hurt. I think just
He
based
makes the
on,
best story.
yeah,
Yeah, given their season outcome this year, I mean, you saw whenever he was out a couple games, they didn't do shit.
Yeah,
I think he's earned it this year. Let him
Yeah.
have his MVP. All those guys on that list are going to have another MVP season in them. I don't know that Jalen Hurts does. I think this is kind of his miracle year. Give it to him. Let him have it.
fair. Is there even at this point any reason to put a non-quarterback on this list?
I think so. Not this year, but I think, what are you saying, ever?
No. When's the last time a non-quarterback won the MVP? Like-
Would it be Adrian Peterson, maybe?
Maybe it's been a long
Like,
time.
that was a really good
It's
running.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson's on there. I mean, yes, he had a great season, but is it just like a pity invite to the party?
Yeah.
No, I think he kind of carried that Vikings team.
Well, yeah,
They
I mean, the
went-
last few games of the season, he did not show up, and look what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same argument we made for Jalen Hurts.
I think that you can have that, but just not this year.
Former Georgia quarterback Stetson Bennett III was charged with DUI in Dallas, Texas last weekend.
This is funny.
Pounding on a hotel door. I saw a couple of conflicting reports, and I'm wondering if this is a time difference between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. That obviously was not his door.
Yeah. I wondered if it was when it was reported versus, or like the time zone they're in versus the time zone we're in.
Very early normal people morning, like getting up morning. Police arrived after a phone call. He was later arrested. No additional details that I saw at this point. What's he doing in Dallas?
He's training down there in Fort Worth.
Okay, that's what
I wondered the same thing. So
Is he the Johnny Manziel?
No.
It said something about him having like it was down in a downtown group of townhouses, and I feel like he just got drunk in the wrong spot and like was laughing, and like I can see him just being stupid and playing like Ding Dong Ditch or something.
I'm telling you, he's the Baker Mayfield, Johnny Manziel.
The other
This
break
year.
room, the other break room speculation of the situation was he super drunk, staying in one of those townhouses and could not remember which
one he was in? Yeah.
They referenced the Friends episode where is it Joey has like the hot girl room and he's trying to figure out which room in the apartment it is, and when he finally finds it, Ross is in there.
So just some news. I mean, at this point is what it is, but yeah, as Jim points out, is this going to lead to more?
Yeah, it's going to be a question of his character.
Well, yeah, it will lead to questions, but will it lead to other issues?
So
That's
this
what I'm more
never,
concerned
this
about.
never happens again. I write it off as a 25-year-old getting too drunk. We could all do this. This is not, to me, this isn't the same level as him. Like, now, if this came out and he had a huge DUI, if he had assaulted or molested someone, if he had been like face down, ass up, butt naked in public square, I feel like he just got too drunk and either got lost or thought he was being funny.
That
And
man ain't ludicrous. Woo!
I will say, when you're in the spotlight like that, you have to act with the assumption that everybody is going to know all of your actions all of the time.
If this
But
was
I
Justin Fields, it'd be a different story. That's all
when
I'm
I
saying.
was 25, I promise you there was a solid chance I was going to do something dumb like this. I'm only 28, so I'm still not saying that I wouldn't do something dumb like this, really. But
Wait, where's this Justin Fields comment come in?
just because he's a high homer and he had to bring it up.
Nope. I'm just
So
saying.
what makes it the same or different?
He's saying I'm being soft because it's Stetson Bennett and not an Ohio State player.
This was Justin Fields, it'd be. I'm not even saying you, Alex. I'm saying the public, the general public would be different.
Gosh.
Okay.
Won't be
LeBron James, and the Lakers lose to the Celtics last Saturday night. But the real story of this game is the end of regulation when LeBron James goes to the bucket, misses the layup, but seemingly is fouled. And then the whole world knew. No call is made. The Celtics go on to win in overtime, but James obviously upset. Obviously, I think I saw.
Obviously,
I think
We'll
that
take it away.
that's an understatement.
Dave Portnoy timed it, and I think he was on the court for 57 seconds in
Yes.
disbelief. And Pat Beverly then comes out prior to overtime to an official on the court to show a picture from a camera that came from somebody courtside of the missed call. NBA officials came out after the game and indicated a call should have been made. Much ado about something? ?
It's not personal. It was a missed call. Move on, LeBron.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous in which way? The missed call or LeBron?
I don't even care about the missed
The
call.
behavior because of the missed call.
Good God, you act like you've been there before, sir.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'd be frustrated too, but just, get up and move on. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you're 3 or 4 games under 500 for a reason.
For a guy that's chasing Mike, have we ever seen Mike do that?
No.
Well, he's not chasing Mike right now. He's chasing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time scoring record. Which
he tries to model himself as this generation's Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
That's what Michael would have done one of those, and that pissed me off, and then gone off in overtime.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just gone crazy. Exactly.
The storyline that we would expect from Michael Jordan is the Bulls win.
Right.
The storyline
Exactly.
from this game is
and someone's
LeBron
getting fired for pissing off Michael Jordan.
Right.
That referee will never ever again be part of a Bulls game.
Yeah, and apologized profusely.
So a lot discussion here, a lot of this. But as I said, LeBron James will probably this week pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time scoring record. If people did not realize that is about to happen.
Who cares? Like he's tarnished the whole thing.
Off that,
No, but like it's things like that.
he's dramatic.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
His flops.
I wouldn't say it was tarnishing, but it was not a good look. It made me laugh at him more than anything.
It puts the greatness in question.
No, I don't believe that. I think it just makes me laugh at him and think he's a little bit.
I'm sorry. Like when you put him up against Michael Jordan, you have the flu game and this guy pissed me off and I did this.
No, and I get all that.
I got bumped, so I laid on the ground for a minute. I don't really care about you breaking a record. Like you're soft.
He's mentally soft, but I don't think that makes him any less of a basketball player.
Okay, I disagree with you.
All right. The Major League Baseball has done it again, everyone, voting only one player to the Hall of Fame this year, with Scott Rowland being the only player to receive the required 75% of the votes.
I say we never talk about the Baseball Hall of Fame on this show again. I say we never freaking talk about it again. We can talk about baseball. We can talk about things that happen. But to talk about this club that just spites people for funsies, we should never let them in.
Should never be into the show.
Never. I think we should put a permanent ban on talking about this subject.
So if we talk about the NFL that always has people in, which you say is watered down a little bit,
Nope.
can't talk about either.
The no Hall of
We
Fame.
can talk about them. They're fine.
I thought
don't
you,
wanna
I
talk
thought
about-
I thought you've had issues with the NFL that everybody gets in and it's watered down.
No. They don't do it out of spite.
Okay.
So
All
not a bunch of grown ass men are like, no, he don't make it.
right. Some of the other players that were not near, but had 60% plus included Todd Helton and Billy Wagner. Jeff Kent not voted in and is ineligible for the remainder of his life.
For the rest of his life. Because some people who don't even play the sport, some writers said, no. Nay. We're only taking one this year. Piss off.
Nate, thoughts? You're of this crew. I think you're the potentially biggest baseball fan overall.
Yeah, I think it is kind of like Jim said. It's kind of like the old man on the porch. Oh, well, you weren't good enough. Piss off. But at the same time, I agree that the NFL, it's almost like a charity. They let everybody in.
All right, fair enough.
don't
Some Jim does not care. Some local flavor in the sports news this past week, as Duquesne University had to review safety policies during a men's basketball game last week, as presumably a DoorDash or other food delivery person was seen walking across the corner of the court during play, with play pretty much right in front of him. In fact, right near the action, delivering McDonald's.
Was this dude like stoned or drunk or whatever? Like, even if you are a food delivery person, they said, hey, bring my food to the game. What makes you think you can walk on the fucking court?
Nate did
He's
it.
got McDonald's. He was on a mission.
I love it.
That was a big ass bag of McDonald's too. If anybody saw the video.
Oh, if I'm ordering DoorDash, I'm getting in for the whole section at that point.
Oh, yeah. Who wants in?
I think it's funny that like we have to review the safety protocols. No, why don't we review the dummy who decided it was a good idea to walk across the court? Like that's what we need to talk about.
Because we don't point people out. We just, discuss as a group our feelings.
Like, what were they doing? Looking at their phone. I'm sitting near mid court. Oh, wait, there's the ball.
In my opinion, like, if it's me and I'm running a university or a major league stadium for that matter, I then capitalize on this and have a DoorDash entrance.
No, I don't. I say you shouldn't be door dashing in food from an outside facility to somewhere that sells food for one. I don't know how that's allowed.
Alex.
I'm not saying I wouldn't want to do it. I'm saying that how is Duquesne not saying their DoorDash isn't allowed to deliver food in the middle of a basketball game?
If I can DoorDash you some Taco Bell while you're watching a game.
I just said I'm not saying I wouldn't want to do it. I'm saying as Duquesne, I would be saying it'd be like if I just walked in with a giant bag of snacks to the basketball game. I'm not allowed to do that.
I feel like you two have just made basketball a movie theater, and movie theater's dead.
Exactly.
So,
Listen. We've all been to a West Lib game. The West Lib food is not like the best. If we can DoorDash us some Taco Bell into a West Lib game, the attendance goes up. I would like to think.
or at least the people
No.
get happier.
Exactly.
Give the people what they want.
Give them what they want.
All right. The Australian Open has ended, and the winners are Arina Sabalenka on the women's side and Novak Djokovic on the men's side. Djokovic wins his 22nd major and 10th Australian Open, a year after not being permitted to play in the tourney due to his vaccination status.
You can really tell football season's coming to an end.
Chris Fowler, this is one of the major tennis tournaments, Jim. You can at least talk about it. Chris Fowler and John McEnroe had a conversation on the matter after Novak won. McEnroe says he gets deported out of Australia, doesn't get any points at Wimbledon, can't play the U.S. Open. Fowler chimes in, a part of his choice is to be fair. He made choices that led to that for some of those things. McEnroe responds, I think he should have been committed to play. Okay, well, that's debate. That's a debate, Fowler said. He did make choices that led to that, but that's
It's tennis. Let's keep moving.
I mean, he did kind of make the choice not to play if you think about it. I mean,
I don't care. Keep moving.
FC Barcelona, the women's side, has set an all-time record, having won their 50th straight league match in a sport that is very much known for ties. The fact that they have won 50 straight
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
is great. So good job,
Kudos.
FC Barcelona, Femini, I believe the women's side. It's the women's FC Barcelona team.
Cool.
Wrexham Field Club, the Welsh soccer club that Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney co-own, are making waves as they are in a position to possibly level up in the league after this year. Currently sitting atop the National League in the fourth round of the FA Cup. The Cone owners have been able to secure sponsorships with the likes of TikTok and able to field a competitive team where one had not existed for some time. And I believe there are pending specials coming out.
Let me
about
just tell
this.
you, Ryan Reynolds, when he backs something, he backs it to the moon. Ryan Reynolds, if you ever want to get in the podcast business, please hit us up. And he is about this. Like, he is all in. He shows up to the matches. I'm pretty sure he shows up to practices. Like, he is all in on this. So I'm not shocked at the success he's having.
His wife's talking shit about him.
Uh-oh, hold on. From the peanut gallery. What'd you say?
His wife was talking shit about him being angry because they were winning. He should've-
Apparently, his wife was talking shit about him
because he was a dog edge receiver.
because he has anxiety and like is all about being trying to win. And I guess his wife's like making fun of him and his anxiety for it. So
That's
this
not
is
very
from my
nice.
peanut gallery.
Is that
So
your wife?
is that like support of Ryan Reynolds or his wife?
You know, they
or-
bust each other up. So
Okay.
thank you to the peanut gallery.
There were some choice words in there too.
Yeah,
I almost thought it was Nate in the background talking.
I know.
Cuss word, Nate.
Because we're Nate. Jake Paul and Tommy Fury are scheduled to fight on February 26th in Saudi Arabia. Jake Paul also in the news for comments about fighting in the UFC and which weight he would go for, taking shots at Dana White and fighters cutting weight. Jim, what are your thoughts on Jake Paul and UFC and Tommy Fury?
I don't really care about any of that, to be honest with you. What I did see was he was in a locker room situation on his show, and he was talking smack on the Furies, and in walked Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury, I swear he's drunk all the time, the way he talks. Well, he's not, but he came in, he was like, "What's up, Mr. Paul?" And I've never seen somebody flip into a little bitch faster than Jake Paul standing next to Tyson Fury, who is about 3 or 4 inches taller and about what looked to be a foot wider than Mr. Paul. And Jake Paul was just chicken shit. All that shit he was talking before he walked in the locker room was gone.
So we don't think this was staged?
No, he didn't see it coming. He didn't know that Fury was walking in. It was epic. So I have zero respect for Jake Paul before, but now I have even less.
The NHL All-Star break is upon us. Game being played this Saturday and the skills competition on Friday. Since there are some, to me, new skills, whatever we're going to call them, in the fold, I'm going to talk a little bit about them. First, we have Splash Shot. This is a new event taking on the beach in Fort Lauderdale with 4 teams of 2 players competing in a single elimination tournament, going head-to-head, where they are trying to hit targets to dunk opponents.
That's cool.
So kind of like another accuracy contest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's on the beach, just not the setting you expect to see for hockey. There's also the pitch and puck. Don't say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, that's for sure. Unless you're Nate.
6 players will play a par 4 golf hole with an island green using a combination of hockey pucks and golf balls. The player with the low score wins. If there is a tie, then the player with the longest drive will be declared the winner. I'm interested to see how this plays out.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna watch?
See, these are the things that are probably you're gonna have to find them. They're probably gonna show replays of it. I don't know if they're gonna show it in its entirety. overall.
Maybe on the YouTube.
Possibly. I will look for it later.
Yeah.
And we also have the Tendy Tandem, which is goaltenders taking part in a team competition where they're trying to shoot from one end of the ice to the other.
Gotcha.
Flurry in this?
Is who? Sorry,
Marc-Andre Fleury?
I don't know. I don't know who's all part of this because obviously there's not 8 goaltenders in the
That
All-Star.
was always his thing to try to score a goal.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're right.
This is his chance.
Yeah. And then we have the typical fastest skater, hardest shot, breakaway challenge, and the accuracy shooting. But something interesting is following the skills challenge. The NHL mascots will participate in a mascot frenzy challenge that will include musical chairs, stretch your stuff, and tug of war. And
I wonder if
during
the Kraken have a mascot.
Guessing it'd be Kraken.
right, it's a big old octopus, squid. What was it?
Yeah, it's like a mythical looking octopus.
Let's
Yeah.
go. So
And
during
during-
tug of war, they have like 8 arms on there.
That is true. Unfair advantage.
Yeah.
During the All-Star game, there will also be a dance competition amongst the mascots. So that's
Kraken have 8 legs.
that's for the kids, Jim.
Let's go Kraken.
That's for me.
The Kraken or the dancing?
Dance.
The dance team.
Gotcha.
What's the Phillies mascot name? Gritty.
Gritty?
Yeah,
I think Gritty should win the dancing challenge. That's just me.
it would make sense.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Is off the NHL All-Star game, but I crack up at the Banning Brother NFL All-Star or NFL Pro Bowl.
I can't wait for that. I will be watching that.
I crack up every time he's like, well, my mom calls me every morning. I don't know. He's wearing these stupid tight pants again. That's a funny commercial.
That is. We'll talk about more about that next week. And that wraps up a whole bunch of stuff about football and other random stuff and brings us right into
Mount Massive.
Yodelay-hee-hoo.
Yeah, you're sick. We can tell. All right. So this is the top 5 things we are looking forward to once football is over. I will go first. I am looking forward to gambling on stupid shit because I gotta, run my luck here now that I'm an Ohio homer or Ohio degenerate. I'm looking forward to possibly building a man cave in my basement or some form of hideout in the basement. I'm looking forward to cooking out and grilling all kinds of things. I'm looking forward to the spring game. It's when I take my girls to the Ohio State spring game. And here in about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, the Daytona 500, where I drink at every rack.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we hammered. Got it.
Yeah.
So what's the drink of choice at the wreck?
I like to get very degenerate. It's NASCAR Nate, so I will be drinking Bud Light
what?
and
I thought you were gonna say Bush Light, and I was about to be offended.
no, I'm not that degenerate.
What?
I was going to say, does the severity of the crash determine the drink?
It determines how long I drink.
A beast.
They red flag that some bitch. I am drunk. You know what I mean?
Shotgun and beers. What?
Oh, it's
Shotgun
gonna
and
be
tall
rough.
boys?
What?
It's gonna be rough.
I'm here for it.
I'm about it.
Who's
All
next,
right.
Jim?
I'm gonna go to my friend Alex.
All right. So my top 5 things I'm looking forward to are watching all the shows I've put off to watch football instead.
Oh,
I feel
that's
like
a
all
good
my
one. I
friends-
should have put that on there.
Yeah, I feel like all my friends are like, "Oh, have you seen it?" I'm like, "Nope, just watch football. Nope,
Just watch
only
football.
Only football." Baseball, I guess. At least the first month of the season, I do like those first, couple weeks of having baseball to watch, and then my interest will wane and then pick back up around playoff time. Working on my yard because I like to work on my yard, cleaning my trash cans, label them with my name and address.
I don't know why that got me, but that got me good.
I'm referencing a lot of commercials today, I guess. I want to buy a grill this year, work on my grilling. So that's a project. And March Madness.
Yeah.
Because I like basketball and like gym.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
You didn't have to take that off, Muff.
Okay.
Sorry.
Got a lot of things, buddy.
Okay.
Me next. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I look forward to Independence Day.
America.
America.
I look forward, similar to Alex's, the start of the baseball season. I look forward specifically to the Pirates only being 5-ish games under 500.
Yeah. When we
Usually-
still think maybe there's a chance.
It usually dissipates, but it's nice that they're always around 500 to start the year.
Yeah, my favorite's when they win like the first they go like 4-2 to start the season. We're like, well, this could be the year. It's never the year. Spoiler alert.
Never the year, everybody. I look forward to golf. I look forward to the Masters and watching golf, and I also look forward to being able to golf myself. I look forward to Alex's movie reviews that will be upcoming.
Oh, yeah.
Once football is over. And lastly, once football season's over, I look forward to football beginning.
Yeah.
So the USFL.
Football that I care about.
Oh, you don't
Oh,
care
yeah.
about hometown? What is it? Pittsburgh? What I can't remember what they're called.
Exactly. That's why I don't care. Right there.
Is it the Maulers?
If we can't name
Something
the team, then I don't care. I would much look forward to watching like the Pittsburgh Riverhounds play.
Soccer.
Is that part of the Riverhounds?
I don't know what they are anymore, but at least I know the team name.
All right, Nate. You're up.
All right, so top 5 things I'm looking forward to after football season. Stanley Cup playoffs. To me, that's the
Well,
most
That's
interesting, hardcore playoff series, hardest trophy in all of sports to win. Baseball, because that's to me saying, hey, summer's right around the corner. The weather's going to start getting better, and especially as a baseball guy, official, whatever, getting out in the field, getting outside. Speaking of which, daylight. I'm so sick. So sick of this getting dark at 5:30, 6 o'clock crap. Let's see what else.
spending more quality time with your wife, I think, was one that you mentioned to me before we started recording.
Yeah, you keep drinking those cold meds.
Yeah, I was waiting for something about me, but there has been nothing. So
I don't know, maybe getting out on a vacation with you, I guess, and getting out of this depressing valley every once in a while.
I already have a vacation plan. He just has to say yes.
And I want to say just travel in general, because usually that's when everybody gets out and weather gets nicer, people want to get outdoors, go see different things and whatever. So that's going to be my number 5.
Sam, you have any thoughts?
Top 5 things you're most looking forward to after football season?
Football not being on TV all the time.
All right, you're done.
Like, you watch a lot of football.
All right, you're
Nate
done.
yelling at the TV when football's on.
That's what you're looking forward to after football season?
Oh, this is what I'm looking forward to not happening anymore.
So what are you looking forward to if the Super Bowl is over?
Oh, I don't know. I was naming things that I'm happy that won't be happening anymore. Like you won't be yelling at the TV.
Okay, we'll keep going. That's 2. What's 3, 4, 5?
I don't know. I'm out. Clearly not hanging out with you because you didn't name that.
Oh, sorry. Was vacation not the 4th thing I said?
That's only after Alex yelled at you.
Because I always had to give me a friendly reminder.
Right.
That's
All
what
right,
brothers do.
This is like awkward Wimbledon right now. If only
Right?
we could see both of them like looking back and forth. Oh no, what's gonna happen? We would you rathering this week?
Yes, we are. I have some.
Would you rather?
This is would you rather?
Would you
All
rather
right.
have an enema or have
Ulna surgery.
an or ulnar surgery?
Enema. Give me the enema. All day long.
And it gets to be given by a person of our choice.
That's fine. I don't want that ulna surgery.
Fair.
Hard pass. All right. Would you rather participate? This is more of a question for the group. What is your price tag to participate in Dana White's slap fight league?
against like each other or against one of like the actual people?
One of the actual people.
Well, it's
1.2 million.
a hell of a lot more than
1.2
like the
million?
$5,000 that they're getting now.
Alex said 1.2 million.
Yeah, 1.2 million. To get slapped by one of those guys, yeah.
I don't know if you can give me enough money because I don't want to turn into a meme the rest of my life.
Not only a meme, but like probably a vegetable. It's like, holy smokes.
Potentially. I'd be a little bit more costly than Alex. I'll say give me a cool 20 mil.
Nate?
Oh no, I'd say you'd have to cover my medical bills for
Yeah,
that
that's a good one.
slap, and then probably however many years of pain and suffering. It's up to the courts.
It's of course to decide.
I'm probably in Muff's range.
I think I stayed low because I know that they're paying low. So I was
Yeah.
trying to be like,
Realistic.
Shoot your shot, Alex.
that's true. If they're gonna shoot their shot at my face, I'm gonna all right, never mind, go on.
Them cold meds are getting you. All right. Would you rather? And this is solely a team. This is not anything specific team. Okay.
Yeah.
If you had a team, would you have Joe Burrow as your quarterback or Patrick Mahomes?
Give me Pat Mahomes.
Nate.
Give me Burrow.
I am with Nate.
I'm with Nate. Joe Burrow. Okay. I want you to hear this one out. Would you rather, for 10 years, never beat your rival, but win the championship 5 times?
So kind of like you. Never mind.
Don't take it there. Okay. For 10 years, always never beat your rival, but win the championship 5 times. Or for 10 years, always beat your rival and never win a championship.
Give me the ship.
Yeah, this is an easy one. You always want the championship.
Play for the trophies.
Jim, I want to
I'm
know
waiting on you.
I want to know yours.
That's my game. I want to know yours.
I say the championship as well.
See, he's on the opposite. That's why he asked the question.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I'm on the opposite.
Yeah. Well, it's different for you. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only different because they've brainwashed him to make it different.
Okay. Last one. Would you lose your best player and advance to the championship this year, keep your best player, and win the championship next year?
Like this is guaranteed I'm winning it next year.
Yes.
Give me the ship. Guaranteed.
Yeah, give me the guarantee.
agree.
And while we're at it, let me put a line or put a bet on FanDuel on it.
Yeah.
A future.
Yeah, let me
Future on my
put
team
a
in the
friendly
championship.
bet on it.
So you'd wait the year.
Oh, if I knew it was guaranteed, absolutely.
Alex, same thing?
Yeah. If I knew it was guaranteed.
Okay.
I know the trophy's coming.
When you frame it that way, I think I would too. When I wrote this up, I was like, I might risk it. But now that you guys are with the guarantee thing, that's a good point. And that's would you rather?
Would you rather?
That is Would You Rather, and that brings us to the end of this week's episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff and Friends. Just not sure how it rolls off the tongue yet. I don't dislike it. We'll see where it goes. As a reminder, make sure you catch us on YouTube, download us and stream us on your favorite apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever else you listen to your podcasts. Follow us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter. Get us on Facebook, sportstuffw.com/Jim Muff on YouTube. Like, comment, rate, subscribe, tickle, poke, hug, squeeze. None of Nate's verbs.
Unless you have consent.
Unless you have consent, then maybe you can consider Nate's verbs. And as always, make sure you tell a friend. Why does Sam always ruin the the end of the show.
Well, because Nate was trying to use one of his verbs, and I said, no, you don't have consent.
What?
Tell a friend, get consent from a friend, and be
B.
The,
Oh,
uh,
friend.
friend.